Disclaimer. Hey everyone, just a quick heads up before we get started. I want to let you know I'm completely transparent. This channel shares my personal trading journey and insights, including discussions of significant gains. Please remember, past performance is not a guarantee of future success, and all trading involves substantial risk. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Please always do your own research and consult with a professional financial advisor before making any trading decisions. I am not responsible for any actions taken based on the information provided in this video. Use this information at your own risk. This is the $8 challenge. Thank you so much for coming by. Today is episode 21, and I am very happy to say the account was green for the day. It was up 8%. I made 4 trades, all same day till expire, and you can see plus 18, minus 53, and that was actually a hedge, and plus 7, and finished it off with plus 78. So very happy with how the day went. Cannot complain for a Friday. It was pretty decent price action. You know, we hit a new relative low, and it'll be interesting to see where the market takes us from here. So if you're new here, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And please drop that like down below. It really helps out that algorithm. Here we go, diving right in, and we're looking at the 15-minute chart right here, and you can see what I'm talking about. We hit that new low, the more recent time low of 443.35. And you know, you can see this chart above my head right here is the 4-hour chart, and this is where I will be looking for those next levels to watch. So right here you can see 439.70. I mean, you could round that up to 440. Basically any even level is going to give you some levels of support right now, but really you can see exactly where we got that support from. So the first time was rejection right here, and then we finally broke through it, and then it kind of got rejected, chopped around that area, came back down, and then we had that explosive move from 442 to 445 on that day. And then, you know, fast forward to where we are today. Those are those levels we're sitting at. So you can see there's lots of room for potential and some, you know, strong moves to the downside. Not a whole lot of choppy going on right here. So, you know, the less volume and the less price action you see in a certain range, you know, expect big moves in that area. Obviously not always a guarantee, but those are things to watch for. So along with gap plays, it kind of goes hand in hand. You know, when you see a big move to the upside, once that trend reverses, watch for that big move to the downside. It doesn't have to be a gap. It could just be a big, strong day. And then you just kind of want to watch that inverse move. So let's zoom on in, go over these trades. Going to keep it short and sweet today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll be happy to help. And here we go. Trade number 1 was at 9:31, so I waited a whole minute and a half after the market opened, and I caught that quick snag right there, that market sell-off right when it opened, and took profit pretty quick. You know, I didn't expect a strong move. A lot of the times, you know, you can expect some volatility right out of the gate, so if you're in profit, just be ready to grab that profit, because just as quick you can be in the red. So be grateful for green. And then trade number 2 and 3, these were kind of a hedge. Actually, trade number 2 was really the hedge. So at 9:52 right here on the blue, I took that position, and then trade 3, I took this trade pretty quick. But then trade 4, you know, I felt that I should have held trade number 3 longer, and really I just took profit. So you can see I got in at 9:54, out at 9:58 right here. And that was that quick 7% gain. But after that, I was like, man, the market feels like it wants to keep trending up. You know, I kind of regretted taking profits when I did, but also it's profit, so you can't regret it too much. But that's when I decided to get back in, and I caught this nice strong move to the upside. And you can see I really could have held and caught an even bigger move. But, you know, I was happy with it. In at 14, out at 25, and then I cut losses on that hedge pretty quick after. So really happy with how that hedge played out, you know, with it being indecisive right there. You know, sometimes hedges, if it's choppy in a sideways day, they can just burn you worse than any other way, really. You know, you just get burnt on both ends of the candle, so it's just horrible. But when that setup is right, you know, you just kind of watch for those options in that right price range where you think that if the market does start to rip in one way or another, it will cover all the losses from that other hedge, or from the other position, I mean. And that way you can still come out green, because it's very easy to get kind of lost in the sauce. The next thing you know, you're just break even, or, you know, slightly green or slightly red, and it's just a long, stressful day of holding. So just be careful when you are taking a hedge. It can burn you. So I've had a lot of hedges go wrong, but I've gotten much better at them over the years and over hundreds and thousands of trades. So that is all for the trades on Friday. The rest of the day I just kind of spent trading futures. But really, there was no big moves. That was, on Fridays, what I've noticed a lot of time, what you will see is just a strong couple hours, if at all, in the morning. And then after that, people just kind of check out for the weekend, when people are green, they know it's better to walk away green. Last thing you want to do is go green to red on a Friday and then have to think about it all weekend. So what you'll see a lot of times is big strong moves like that and then just kind of choppy for the rest of the day. There was moves to be made in here if you're patient and you wait for those right setups. Nice move right here where it just kind of built support, and then finally eventually popped, and it just kind of did that a few times. But really, Fridays, man, it's almost better for me to not trade them sometimes. I've had some rough days on Fridays, let me just say that. So anyways, let's move on to the account. You live and you learn. I definitely learned the most from those red days, though. So Friday, scrolling over after Thursday's loss, that was a little frustrating, but I was just determined. There it is, up 8% on the day, and Webull updated, so I don't have to scroll back and forth. But really happy with that. I actually withdrew 15% again, so 2 weeks in a row. I've paid myself, and I recommend you do the same. Even if it's a small account, just get in the habit. Pick a percentage. If you are green on the week, 5, 10, 15, just pick something that makes sense. And for me, 15% the last 2 weeks have made the most sense. You can't actually see it on here yet, but it was like $10 and some change. So the account will have $60 of buying power available, and that is a total of 19 I've withdrawn. So it would be at $80 right now. So from 8 to 80, $71 of profit, starting from 8. So very happy with the results so far, and it just goes to prove you don't need a lot of money to start trading. It's better to start with $5, $10 than to sit on the sidelines and save up your money, and then by the time you have $5,000, just hopefully you can figure it out with that $5,000. And I recommend you just learn how to grow a small account, and when you're ready, size up. So that's all I have for the day. Thank you all so much for coming by. Hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you stay happy and healthy. I'll see you tomorrow.